you so much, Mr. Mukherjee. As I informed last time, that Mr. Navin Mehra was not there, but he's now here. Our next session is Keynote sessions with an interesting topic, technology trends and adoption in new normal times. To present this session, now we welcome Mr. Navin Mehra, Regional Leader, Cybersecurity, Cisco, Secure India and SARC. Can we have a huge round of applause for him, please? Louder. Navin Mehra has over 2 decades of experience in the cybersecurity space with proven expertise in threat research, solution sales, and business development. He's a regional leader at Cisco Secure and was earlier the regional director at Fortinet. Navin holds a bachelor degree and is a certified information system security professional. The stage is all yours, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Okay. I'll be holding you between lunch, and that's a real crime. Still, my friend wants to, take this session, and he feels we all are so passionate about security that we can do lunch some other time. Pardon me for that. And probably it was enlightening to see the gentleman with 30 certifications along. That's enriching. Because cybersecurity has been such a domain now. It's so complex, and it is so learning, unlearning, at least after even 22 years, I don't know really if I've got, a hang of it in terms I can say that I'm a true cybersecurity professional. There's so much happening daily, right? I think the topic from my perspective was, I just thought, let's see what's happening new post-pandemic as things are getting normalized. So I thought of giving a perspective around the trends that have been setting around cybersecurity and how we as organizations are probably, reacting to it. So, does it change? Okay, but this slider? Sorry, you'll change from there? Okay. So, one of the trends that we are seeing is that there is a lot of competition among the businesses. In terms, the dynamics have changed. The businesses are so interconnected. So probably, the business competing itself as an ecosystem. So it's thriving in its own ecosystem, and there's so much of interdependency. So there's one trend that we are seeing, especially after the supply chain attack, that you will understand, that this is one of the trend around that we are seeing in terms of cybersecurity attacks. Secondly, there is no, everybody is an insider, as because the networks have become borderless. So you won't see that, or you won't be able to, make it out that who's the users, because trust is something that is continuously has to be revalidated and re-verified for users across. The work, currently the culture is hybrid. As we all know, post-pandemic, nearly 60% of organizations or, the employee strengths have been looking at hybrid, specifically. So more, more demanding for us in terms of achieving that. Done? Is it working? I can make a change from here if it's okay. Okay. As we all know, the adoption towards cloud has been accelerated post-pandemic because of the remote work scenario, the hybrid work scenario. Applications have become the new life force. So basically, the things have moved out from the data center typically to move on to the cloud, where the applications are generally hosted. Hybrid work is one thing. There is a lot of acceleration around with the introduction of 5G that we anticipate. I hope this would have been discussed in one way, as the bandwidths, the connectivity, and the availability of internet to more and more users would be increasing. That's one thing that we would be seeing. So probably it is more important that the workloads need to be protected. The apps need to be protected in general. So there is a tendency around this particular change in terms of the IT trends. As per Gartner, the top, I would say, 10 cybersecurity threats or trends that we are seeing across that in 2022 encompasses of one, definitely the attack surface expansion. As we all know, in terms of the borderless networks that we have been talking. Identity system defense, when you're having a hybrid workforce type of a culture, you definitely want to ensure continuous trust where you need to ensure identity. Digital supply chain risks, given the type of business ecosystem that we are into, you can go onto a portal, verify the, I would say, basically if you're booking an airline ticket, you want to validate, you can book the ticket online on a third-party portal. So, which seems that the business is all interconnected, in terms. So, there is definitely a big risk towards supply chain. Vendor consolidation, it's been understood that there are more than 9 vendors that many of the organizations today have in terms of achieving cyber security or ensuring cyber security defense for their organization. There is a big risk when you have multiple vendors, you have complexities arising out of it. Expertise becomes another problem. Consolidation of vendors is another thing. Security mesh is another technology which has been evolving in its own sense, whereby even if the users are in a complete mobility state, you can ensure the same level of defense in your cloud as you have it on your data center. That's something evolving. Distributed decision making, as we know that everything gets centralized around CISO when it comes to adopting security practice. It's now a time specifically for larger organizations as per Gartner to look at more distributed, I would say there has to be a cyber security team in an organization rather than an individual, and the decision has to be agile. The decision can be distributed, it has to be agile, so there has to be a workforce of cyber security which can take care of that. Beyond awareness, there is always a human factor. As per Gartner, some of the things that come across is that when there is a human factor, the education plays a very important role. The awareness, the hygiene that the users need to maintain in terms of cybersecurity practice is something also that needs to be adopted. So, in a business environment which is quite interdependent, so if you look at it, our security is the security that we are. So if we are doing business with our customers, they basically rely on a security which is a trust-based model. So our security is their security. There is a lot of interdependency on our customers, partners in general. If you look at privacy, similarly the same approach has to be taken. What you ensure for yourself, what you ensure in terms of an access to your partners or customers, you need to ensure the same level of privacy for the data. There has to be the similar resilience, which we are talking of. So again, the way the business is evolving, nearly 89% of the companies feel that their business models would be definitely obsolete by 2023. So as business models are moving towards more application-centric, they are moving towards more end-user, endpoint specific, it is very important that you need to adopt new practices or cybersecurity approach, probably to achieve that type of level of efficacy in terms of and stay resilience in these type of uncertain times. Hybrid workforce, as we have been talking, there is a huge survey around it, specifically even from Cisco's side, talking about hybrid workforce. Nearly 85% of CIOs want to ensure that their workforce is quite educated, because as there is a lot of people who are still not been reporting, in terms of coming back to office. As the survey has been talking, there have been a lot of discussions, especially for organizations to build different hubs and to ensure that they are as connected using various platforms, and they are secured in terms of their access. Up and running? Thank you. Yeah, it stops my flow. Okay, so the traditional model of network is not ideal at the moment if you look at it. What used to happen earlier was all the traffic used to go to the data center, which is quite changing now. You have got the users directly reaching to the applications which are in the cloud. So your decentralized model of you having all the users coming to the data center is quite changed now. And users from anywhere, everywhere can access their applications, their usage. So what traffic used to be completely 80% internal has changed. It has become 80% internet and 20% internal in this new model. As we are looking in terms of the type of concerns that the IT, as an IT team you have been facing, we see that there is a number of devices which has increased in terms of access. BYOD, which was actually a concept, is now being quite entrenched into an organization. Transition to the cloud, we have been talking about that. Digital transformation, acceleration. These are some of the concerns that are on top of the mind. At the same time, these have led to IT fatigue in its own way, because there is too little visibility. At the same time, there are too few experts for many of the organizations to probably deal with. So if you're talking about, when we are talking about trends, it is very important to understand that one of the very prominent areas when we are talking about cyber security is actually the time that it takes for you to, probably come out of a breach. So it has been understood that this time is close to 100 days on an average, which is one of the more critical areas. We have been looking at, the certain directives which are in force. But if you look at it, the capability of an organization to come out of a cyber attack, and everybody would have to go through this experience. This is all because of the type of complexities that have arisen over a period of time in terms of adopting the various cybersecurity practices. So that security gap is something which organizations need to continuously work towards reducing, and it just takes in this entire, I would say, defense, in the various vectors, threat vectors that we call around, definitely in all the different type of attacks that you have been seeing, it is that one, probably miss is what it is required for an attacker to be successful. What we have been trying to do or evolve and help organization is to simplify cybersecurity. Simplify in a way where the adoption and the visibility can be much better, and that's the perspective that we have been working on. So if security teams really care about zero trust, multi-cloud infrastructure where they want to adopt zero trust, they want to reduce the complexities, have more visibility into the traffic and the users on how they are moving across, ensure better consumption and a better ROI from their cybersecurity investment, which is a tough thing to do. But those are the things that you want to really keep up and you want to care for. There is where the need for cyber resilience, security resilience really takes up. And in this perspective, when you want to achieve in this, ever advanced, advanced and increased cyber landscape, you want to ensure that you have the right tools and the products which are basically integrated to achieve that. When we talk about it, when we talk about zero trust, and everybody has its own philosophy of defining zero trust. And trust, which is not more just a sentimental word now, it is basically more tangible, verifiable, and it's a continuous process. So zero trust is a journey in itself, one of the very important building blocks in this particular new age of digital transformation, where you want to achieve zero trust. And as I said, everybody has its own way of interpreting zero trust in general, and adopting various tools in its entire journey. Because how we look at zero trust, you have established the trust, you have enforced the access based on the trust and the privileges, and this requires continuous monitoring in terms of continuous verification of trust, because what is trusted at the moment can still become untrusted for the next moment. You may have a very clean data file coming into the user now, and the next moment, due to a zero trust, due to a zero-day attack, this particular file can be something which can be nefarious in a way where you want to block or you want to revoke the user's access in general. So again, there is this particular adoption has been in progress, and there are a lot of organizations who still need to achieve this in their way. How we have been achieving zero trust, and we definitely would like to give you a perspective of walk the talk from Cisco's side. We look at all these three areas which are very important: the workforce, the users, the workplace, the networks, and the workloads, which is basically your applications, your data, your infrastructure, which is going to be accessed. And if you need to enforce zero trust, you need to enforce the zero trust at all the three layers if you want to be comprehensive in your achievement of zero trust in general. So in the zero trust journey, there has been a concept around SASE. We have been hearing SASE now, which is again, rephrased by Gartner in its own in its own approach, where they have removed the A and made it SSE, which is secure service edge rather than secure access. They feel the access medium can be through anything, where a user can come via SD-WAN or can come any other transport layer. But it is the secured, I would say, cloud engine, which is very important in user to access the application or third-party SaaS platform. And having said that, so SASE also is a part of the entire zero trust architecture or framework. So many people feel that zero trust in itself is a product, which is not. It is basically a journey. And if you look at Cisco, much before the pandemic hit us, and this was again an adoption over a period of time, we could achieve, and we are today having, because if you're talking about zero trust, there are close to 1 lakh of employees which are currently validated for various applications and access in terms of usage. So if you're trying to, at times, promote something, my perspective here is that you are also a user where you are trying to, achieve that. And how you have achieved in your entire, journey of the technology, it helps the people in terms of adoption from the experiences that you can gain. We provide an open platform rather than coming onto point solutions. So basically, most of the organizations who are currently on various Cisco networking platforms can leverage their level to the without much of complex changes into their network by adopting an integrated approach towards security, which we are offering in terms of a platform-based approach. So I don't want to get into the details, but when you are a cybersecurity vendor, you generally want to look yourself as a partner to your customers. And in this journey, you need to be having, I would say, a vision. And I want to just call out that the vision has been there from more than a decade now, where Cisco has been investing big time in acquisitions, new companies and technologies, but with the purpose of integrating and bringing out meaningful technologies in general. So all these technologies which help in the achievement of whether it is passwordless authentication to the workforce, whether it is micro-segmentation of the workplace, or whether it is, container-based, application-based security or access on the cloud. So you have different type of products and tools, and the best part is that all these tools are integrated. So if you have a attack intelligence from an endpoint, the intelligence gets passed up to the cloud level or the application level, so that either the user access can be revoked, or either basically the entire signatures can be updated, or there can be virtual patching which can be enforced in terms of achieving through different tools. There are analytics tools which are available, access tools which are available. This is a security reference architecture, again calling out that whether it is the user or whether it is the application, these are all having different technologies which are interconnected, and basically there are very micro level sites talking about a user authentication information being passed to a NAC solution, and how does that NAC solution pass the same information with a firewall, and other type of integrations that can happen with various use cases. What we want to call out here is that apart from the different tools, nowadays we want to have more visibility, and there is been again a resounding product or a technology which people try to sell you is something around XDR. Now XDR is basically an extended detection and response type of a mechanism which organizations are been adopting towards advanced threats, and Cisco has made it or ensured that as a value proposition we provide you the XDR functionality without any cost as an extended approach towards all our security solutions, any or one that you have adopted. So this is very important in the fact that if you want more visibility and you want to act towards that threat, because apart from XDR, which is a combination of SIM and SOAR, we basically are today offering that. So that's something which, if you have any of our products from Cisco, you can start using the XDR. The playbooks are all there, third-party integrations are there, so you can bring more visibility around that. This is how the dashboard looks in general, and this is all the products are generally SaaS-based, so you don't need to have any heavy hardware implementation or anything on that terms of adoption. All of these products are again supported by the largest threat research organization in the industry, which is Telos. And again, all this intelligence is what we try to share with most of our industry peers. So, we all can benefit around it, because I think it becomes morally, an obligation also with the highest number of sensors that we have in the industry. In terms of the networking products, in terms of the security product, there is a lot of new learning that comes in. And this new learning gets adopted in terms of by the research team, which gets again shared to all the products around Cisco and the products internationally also for other peers. So that was a brief synopsis of what I wanted to just highlight, that reducing complexity in cybersecurity today has to be the moral obligation for every vendor, because there is too much noise. 350 plus vendors are today operating out of this country in cybersecurity, and thankfully there are new technologies emerging. But it is very important to ensure that the level of trust, competency, integration that we can all bring together is what we can help. It can help all of us to approach cybersecurity in a cohesive way in general. Thank you so much for your time. Sorry to hold you back on lunch. Yeah.